So hopefully some of you
Share.
maybe caught some moves. That's great. Say it again.
Wrong share.
Better now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So pretty volatile after the 230, right? So as anticipated, the first move, they didn't do a really good job here selling it. And then, of course, they came back. They were not able to break the PD value area high. Then they dumped it all the way to the POC, broke the value area low, and now we're trying to climb back up and kind of see if we get a rejection here soon. I updated all these levels, so the ones that we're kind of looking at right now, anyone has an idea like what's happening right now in terms of balances? They can summarize it.
We are out of October. We are inside October value area, as well as September value area right now, and outside of previous week. So essentially now, if we go up, October value area high may become a level from where we can go back, as in act as resistance. And if we go down, then September value area low is to be watched out for support. But I just saw Slabby's comment, and I think that makes sense that there is a skinny belly all the way down to probably October POC.
That's correct. Yep. So that's pretty good analysis, right? So we are still in September value area, but we are very close to the bottom extreme. And then inside the October value area high, we just got in. So usually when you get in, if you guys remember, I'm just gonna switch to a chart. I don't chart much. So if you guys look at your POCs, I'm sorry, the PowerPoints. So typically what you want to see when you have a value area, for instance, that's broken into, right? So if we are outside, like we just mentioned, why is this not switching here? Oh, if we are inside the value area of September and we just broke inside the Octobers, what would you guys expect to happen in order to accept the October value?
80% rule rejection at October value area high band.
That's correct. So what you want to see whenever you have something like this, let me hide this, make a blank chart. So whenever you have a value area like this one, and especially that, like a monthly value area. So right now you went above the October's value area and then you dipped inside, right? So the only way that we know that you're looking for acceptance is that you come here and then we take you all the way down. We will take a short right here and we would drive it all the way to the opposite extreme here. Because when you look at the chart of ES, I mean, it's pretty evident, right, that you broke this with a nice candle, right? The volume uptick was there. Then we really never came back and, climbed it back inside. So ideally, maybe there's a chance that we can push to October value area high. Is there going to be selling levels in between? Yeah, of course. I mean, if you guys look at this, there's a lot of volume gaps here and imbalances in between. So if you guys take a look at this guy, to here, you'll see that there's a little bit of, skinny bellies and volume here that are happening, right? So all of this here is kind of very, very skinny, especially this piece here. And then if you look at this is going to be, if we decide to break inside of October value area high, let's say we reclaim it, then you're really looking at this level here, which should be close to PD value area low. This is where the highest volume of selling occurred between these three candles here that we are looking at. So you're looking at about 38.30 for potential rejection. In case we start running here, this would be my first entry for short October value area high. And if you're using fair value gaps and imbalances, there's a nice one that's kind of right here now. And it's setting up for a short. And you guys see how we came back inside, dumped it. We just made a higher high here. So I personally would not short it here if I was to play it right now. I would be a little bit more patient and let it push up all the way to the October value area high if we get that retest. And there's a value area or fair value area gap right there as well. Okay. Any questions on ES? Okay. Did anyone see this chart I posted last night for you guys?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was hoping that you guys take a note of it, right? It's actually a really good chart. You know, the value area high was pretty much a setup here, right? And I posted this and I gave you a few chart from my TOS mobile as well. But this was setting up to be, you know, potentially a really, really, really good setup. And I said it's a professional shorting setup. Once you break a trend line, you're coming back for a retest. You come here and you're going to probably wick around here and you're going to be doing the sell off. And, you know, here, if you guys take a look at it, if you just scroll to the left and you kind of look at the candles and where the imbalances happened, this is where the last imbalance happened, right? So if you guys think about it, this is where that candle came in, and that's the imbalance that was being created off of that candle. So if you just drew a little supply here, it was telling you that this is going to be pretty heavy supply here that we were coming in, and it was value area high of this whole run up here. And you guys see the importance of it. We came multiple times, right? Tap, tap, double, you know, kind of double top here. You had a neckline. You broke above it. You trapped some more bulls, and then well, obviously you guys know what happened after. We dumped. And now, you know, yeah, I'm not really surprised that we are holding on here right now. This should not be yellow. And we are right here at that level right now, where that shelf is. And then if we are able to, you know, let's say we lose this level, if you're more confident, you can go off of this level right here, just because this level also represents the flip. Meaning, you know, you broke this level here. There's also an imbalance. So when you guys look at this, I'll just remove all of this. So you guys start looking at these charts, so that way you look for the imbalances and balances, right? For newer people that are on the call here, the market, you know, the market auction theory is fairly simple, right? So if you guys look at this, I don't know what's going on here. If you guys think about this market auction theory, we are either in balance or in imbalance, right? So right now, if you guys take a look at it, you know, we were in balance in a really large balance, and now we had an imbalance move. So now when you look at the charts, imbalance moves happen pretty much on every time frame that you guys see. You know, you can look at 65 minutes and you can see the balances, imbalances, and you can recognize those by the large volumes. So what I mean by that, so if you guys look right here, make this not extend. Guys, look at this, and you can literally trade this all day, believe it or not. And it just requires patience and a little bit of, you know, kind of watching and seeing what's going on in price action. So if you see that this is balanced right here, right, and we created an imbalance to it, if you just drag this blindly here, I'll switch it. Just see what happens to the levels when you come to these levels right here. So if this was the balance, you come back here, you have a nice rejection on the first visit back, right? You come back, that's a pretty good short. Usually second, third time, you know, you want to be careful shorting as they're depleting the supply or demand, depending which way we are. Then, you know, you see us struggling a little bit here, but you're creating different balances, right? There's different candles being formed, different price action altogether. And then here, if you guys look, there's another one. I mean, it's almost like an ascending triangle being formed. And it's the same thing here. If you guys look, it's an imbalance being created, and here you go. They brought it back, but we are still here. We still haven't really dipped below to find the next kind of the demand zone and where we were headed. And if I was to bet my money, I would say that we are probably headed right here. This would be you know, the way we are headed right now here. And then you have a little bit of demand below that. And obviously you guys see the little congestion here that's being created. But these little balances that I'm referring to, they happen on a lot of time frames, guys. So here was today, if you guys were looking at ES, let's see, this is Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So here, this is pretty good. So if you guys look here, you know, this was kind of the bottom that they set after, right? They had a wick, so you could have placed it there. They came back here, and then anytime you see a big candle, what should you guys do with the fibs on the big candle? Does anyone remember?
You said to do fibs from the high to low of the candle and see where it may retrace and reject.
Correct. You want to find the 50% of that fib of that candle. So if you guys look here, and here, I just wish there was a way to save these differently. So if you guys look at this one, for instance, I just took this big candle here and I'm looking for the 50%, right? I'm looking to see where the 50%, and you know, my buy zone, as you guys know, is the 61.8. Okay. So if you guys know that, you know, your load up zone is 61.8 and the 50 zone, and look where we rejected today when you had this nice candle up, you pushed up on, I mean, I'm on 2 minutes, right? I mean, it's not a single candle closed above that 61.8 or 50. When you get this confirmation, this is not a bad probability for you to take a trade. I took, I'll have to check, I believe it was 37.50 for, well, I guess tomorrow. I took that trade, and I mean, it literally went up like 140% right here, and then it continued, and I sold it. And I think it went from like 3.2 to 12. And it was just simply playing what, you know, what I was seeing from my chart, you know, while I was not on the PC to chart it, but I was looking at it on the phone, and this is the setup that I was looking at. And it's just simply looking at the price action. Hey, we got a, and I mentioned, and if you guys search up the text, I told you it's gonna have a volatile move up or down, and then it's gonna wipe that move out. I don't know if you guys recall it, but usually the first move does not carry much weight, especially when you're, you know, expecting FMOC and the rates, and then the journalist that asked the questions. Actually, if you're inputs, you guys should send him a thank you, because he's the one that saved the bears that day today, because it changed the tone of J-Pow for him to actually dump the market a little bit more. So here, price action, you came in, set a low, you came back, you break it. A lot of people, when I tell you guys, you know, you don't have to short here. This is not the most ideal entry to short right here. You know, if you come in here and you short it on the retest, which would be here, you have a little bit of, you know, information that these people did not have. And it makes it so much easier to short this, guys. To me, this is just a no-brainer short. Like if you come in here, you know, you have a little bit of resistance here, you can put your stop loss above, or simply, you know, you could just use this and figure out that, you know, if you come back above this level, you should probably get out of the trade. So if you shorted it here on the value area low retest, look what happened. You came in, you had a good entry, you can put the stop loss right above. So if your entry was, let's say here, 38.47, you're risking about 8 points, and then, you know, you could simply just use your fibs from here and be able to figure out, you hit the 127 on the dot. I don't know if you hit this 1618, you never came close to it, so you will. Eventually we'll go here and then see where we go from there. But that is just basic price action, guys, and it happens literally every day. Well, not every day recently, just because we were consolidating for a while. But usually you will see this, and you will see the stocks repeat this cycle. And AMD had a nice move today. I don't know if you guys were able to catch it, but here's your AMD move. I mean, it was pretty good, right? So if you guys look at it, I mean, I would say that this is pretty good consolidation here on AMD. Would you guys agree? So if you guys look at these levels right here, look at this. They consolidated that, you know, we had the ER, and I mean, then you had the bounce off of these levels here. And you came back, right? We had the 60.51. You came here, and this level is a little bit more relevant because it's the one that's being tapped the most. And look, we came back to that level, and you kind of ran $2 from that level, from I guess 1 o'clock to what's like 2 o'clock. In 30 minutes, you ran $2 on AMD. That's a pretty good payday. And then you wiped. You had a double arrow on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually double arrows are on AMD. I don't know why on AMD specifically, but it usually pays.
Uh-huh.
AMD is pretty good. And then here, this is like, again, a lot of you guys might see a chart and you see like, oh my God, I don't see much. Program your brain to see balance and imbalance. Balance and imbalance. I promise your life becomes so much easier trading. Look at this. Here's my balance and imbalance, right? So if I think about this level here, you know, we had this level here and then we broke that balance in here and we went down. And I always say, you don't have to short this. I promise you will get your opportunity to short it once it gets there. Boom, came back, you enter your short, put the stop loss right above the zone, and look at this. You would have made money again on this one. And this is just one simple stock, right? I mean, I'm picking AMD. Here's SPY again. So I'll just wipe it so you guys at least see this. I just want to make sure you guys are starting to switch your brain, because if you don't look for it, you will not find it. Let's see here. So here's again, there's, I mean, obviously a big balance right here that's being created. You broke above it, you came back, you came under, and it's the same concept we just saw, right? You came back under it, retested it. And if you're not familiar with volume profile, you can use it for a little bit more accurate levels than, you know, using single support lines and resistance points. But once you start seeing, you know, the stock market imbalances, I promise it's going to make you at least 20% more profitable than you are now. And especially in these choppy waters where we're not getting a lot of action. I mean, you're getting action, but you know, it happens and then they go away for a long time and you have to sit and wait, right? And for some of you guys, you don't like sitting and waiting, but unfortunately, that's all the stock market is, right? And a lot of you guys, you know, I get some DMs from people, I'm not going to call them out, but I mean, guys, how long does it take to become a doctor?
Long ass time.
7 years.
Yeah, Dumpster, how long did it take you to become proficient in your role in the corporate world? When you graduated, did you get the role and make 150K? I just don't understand, why do you guys have expectations to come into the trading world and expect to pick this up in a month, and if you're not profitable, you quit? To me, it's just, you're setting up expectations that are not realistic. And when you have unrealistic expectations, you're just gonna be not beating them, right? And you're gonna fail miserably. A lot of you, if you're less than a year trading, I promise, you know, it might seem like a very long time, but 1 year in the stock market is not much. I mean, it takes you 4 years. It takes you 4 years, guys, to get the bachelor's degree. That you know, it's useless. But it takes you 4 years. You know, it takes you 4 years to get it, and yet, I mean, it's very useless. So if you want to be successful in trading, and some of you guys are thinking whether, you know, you're not cut out for it, all of you guys are cut out for it. But the problem is you have a mental problem. Not saying you're mentally sick, but you have a problem where you're not happy with any amount of money you make. And until you change that, then, you know, nobody can help you. I can't help you. Trading Wars can't help you. Nobody will help you. And you guys, if you're trading and you make $250 in a trade and you're not happy with that, I don't think I can help you. I think you need some help from somewhere else, some kind of psychologist or some kind of mental guy Because making, I mean, I'm being honest with you guys. Like, it's best not to waste my time, and you guys don't waste your money. But guys, the name of the game is compounding. It's nothing more but compounding. Once your account's 100K and you make 3% daily, it's a totally different game than, you know, when your account's 1,000 and you make 3% daily. It might not seem much at first, but you have to let it add up. And I know I'm preaching this a lot, compound, but guys, once you are at, you know, your account's 100K and you grew it from small accounts, that 3% daily on 100K, that's 15K a week. And you cannot speed up the process. Like, I had a 101 with somebody last night, and I was pretty mad at them. I was not happy the way they're thinking. If you guys have other jobs and, you know, you're making money elsewhere, don't fucking treat this as a hobby. This is not a hobby.
Rockets, your mic is hot.
If you're treating this as a hobby, you're gonna be suffering, and you're just gonna be lying and taking dreams from yourself and taking money from you and your family to feed your hobby that you're never gonna be profitable in. Especially if you're not changing anything the way you're doing it. If your behavior is not changing, you're doing the same shit over and over. I'm sorry, but you know, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to your family, you're lying to your friends and everybody. For a lot of you guys that are struggling, you know, it's a simple concept. 30 days. I challenge you, 30 days, one trade only. Take good setups, take a plan where you have an entry, where you have an exit before you get into a trade. Do not FOMO. There's no reason to FOMO. Play the game. Play the game like the trade has to come to you. You don't have to chase the trade. Let it come to you. And those are the most stress-free trades you're gonna have, and they're the best trades you're gonna have. It's planned. You take a entry here. You're gonna get out here, and that's it. You call it a day. You hit your target. Let's say it's 250 a day. 250 a day might not be a lot, but you multiply by 5. Now it's a lot. You know, making 1250 a week extra is not bad money. For a lot of people, that's sometimes even a monthly salary. So just think about it, guys. As you're trading and you're not happy with $180, your key is to compound. If you compound, you know, and I've shown you guys this multiple times, take $1,000 and compound it for a year at 3% daily. You will be shocked that it comes out to be a couple of $1 million, right? But you guys fail because you get greedy. You want to speed up the process. You want to get ahead of the game, and you know the market is just like quickly gonna humble you, and you're gonna lose everything that you got. And then, you know, if you read the Trading in the Zone, what does a typical human behavior do when you have a losing trade and something doesn't go your way in the market?
You YOLOing.
No, you blame the market.
Hope.
Oh yeah.
You blame the market, you blame everybody else, but you don't look at yourself or what you should do differently. You don't accept the risk. You actually reject the risk that you're supposed to accept. And you know, I posted something for you guys. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's this piece right here. So
Yep.
a lot of you guys are trading without the guidelines, right? You guys find opportunities, you find a trade, and then this is where, I don't know why this is happening. Why am I active? If your risk is not accepted, you guys will be stuck on the right side here for a while. Okay? Meaning your risk is not accepted. Let's say you trade successfully, yes. You get a little bit of a confidence, right? And out of this call, I would say 80% of the people experience this where they have a winning trade, 2-3 days, 4th day, and you know what the 5th day they do? They forget about the guidelines, they forget about the position sizing, and they increase the position sizing tenfold. And what happens to the profits they had for the 4 days?
They lose
All
it
gone
all.
in a day, right?
They're all gone. And then what happens is, until now, you're trading carefree. You did not have any fear while you're trading. But you know what that loss adds? It adds a lot of fear now. Now you're trading with the fear of losing, and then you get hit a little bit of emotional. You look at your account, you know, it's no longer where it was. And then you're like, man, I just got to revenge it. I got to get my money. I got to get my money back.
Right.
And the more you want to make the money, the less you're going to make. And that's pretty much the cycle that you guys fall in. You have to think and accept the risk. Hey, if this doesn't work, this is where I'm going to get out. I'm okay losing that. And you have to own it. It's not just saying it. You have to be disciplined to get out. Keep your losses small instead of keeping your losses large, and winners small. Flip it. Keep your losses small and let the winners run. Easier said than done, but you cannot look at your P&L while you're trading. You're trading the chart, not your P&L. Okay, so hopefully some of you guys, you know, I'm not trying to say that a lot of you guys are suffering from this, but this is the biggest hurdle that all traders have. It's not the technical knowledge, the levels or whatnot, right? That's not the hard part, guys. I mean, I've shown you that you can find levels, right? And you can chart them as anyone else, and we have the accuracy of the levels. I mean, just look at the levels that we have. I mean, look at the levels that you have. You can play with these levels with a degree of, you know, accuracy that it's pretty good. And you know, here you broke below the PD POC, and I told you my favorite setup for shorting POCs is what? Rumi, what's my favorite setup?
Retest.
Yeah, it's a plain retest, guys. Because once you lose PD POC, what does it mean in sentiment?
Bearish.
Yeah, you should have a bear sentiment. Once you, especially if you, I mean, this was screaming bear sentiment. You know, if you break above PD value area high or value area, you go above it, then you come back inside. That's a first sign of a really bear setup. Well, then you break the POC, that's a double. And then you came back beautifully for a retest, and look at that. 38.47, and you just kind of dumped it. And I mean, even if you did the fibs here, I'm pretty certain that you would have done okay here. So here we didn't come there, but if you use the lower high, I'm pretty sure 50 would have been hitting. And it hits right on. So the levels is not the problem, guys. It's you trusting the levels and waiting for the levels to come. And a lot of you guys sometimes get in a habit that you want to predict, you know, way it's going to go, and you don't even have a confirmation to get in. Like for instance, this is my confirmation tomorrow is maybe a rejection of October value area high. If I wanted to trade tonight, this would have been my entry right here. If I wanted to short this, I mean, this is pretty good here, right? You popped out of the balance, you're coming back. Well, I'll take a stab here short. And if I took that short, you know, you'd be up 5 points here. And if you break this level right here that I'm kind of drawing right now, there's a chance you're going to go lower here. And then you're going to be kind of growing money here. Yeah,
See,
so
Shorty, that PD POC, that was today's POC, correct?
that's yeah, I already marked the levels, correct.
Okay, because
Yeah.
you're talking about playing that today off of
Yeah,
that
but it was a
PD
session
POC.
POC.
I was
It was
gonna
a
say
session
no,
POC.
no. What I have it as is it's a 7-day POC
Okay, well,
on
even
my
stronger
chart.
then.
But
Yeah.
you're, I just wanted to make sure that I was following along correctly because I was looking at my chart. I'm like, wait, I haven't updated mine. That's not PD POC. We didn't hit PD POC for a retest.
Yeah, it was a session POC, and of course, I mean, from psychological perspective, we had actually, you know, we had that zone marked as a pretty heavy zone for a bounce, if you guys recall, right? 38.50. If you guys, does anyone recall from the watch list Sunday? We said 38.50
Yes.
will potentially drive a nice bounce, and I mean, we came here, bounced, came back again. we hit a bounce, and then once you break a zone like this, once you break a key zone like that, you know, you're looking for the retest from the bottom, and that's exactly, you know, what we got here. You got a retest from the bottom, and then you continue down. And now, you know, the game is fairly simple. You know, there's a high chance we're going to go to the September value area low. If we're able to break that, then, you know, we're looking at October. October value area is pretty high. I mean, it's from 308.06, so about 200 points. So if we are able to push up here, that would not be a bad target, you know, to shoot for. Not saying it happens in a day, but, you know, eventually we'll grind down and tap this level. And we definitely broke this trend line here, so. And a lot of volume was, you know, released right here. You guys look, this is pretty heavy volume here. Second heaviest volume that I see on chart right now, and that's going back to April. Pretty heavy here. And the daily, I mean, you see an uptick on volume as well. So it'll be interesting to see what what happens tomorrow. You know, they have a little bit of liquidity here. If we're able to break that, then we're opening the doors for a little bit bigger move. I'm thinking even, you know, we could open the doors right here to this 3,800 level. I'm sorry, 3,200 level. Okay.
Did you swing your SPX 3750s?
I did, yeah.
I swung 3700s.
Yeah, I closed 3,700.
Nice.
Shorty, probably unrelated question. How do you pick a strike when you take SPX, like 3,700 rather than 3,710 or 3,720 or 3,715?
So for me today, the 3,750 that, you know, that I was playing was basically just off of the levels that we had here. So I was looking, you know, if I looked at this, it was fairly simple to figure out for me. I was looking at this right here and I said, hey, if you're able to kind of break these levels, where's the next support of buyers that you might find? So there's a couple of ways you could find it, right? One is using, you know, if you did this, you can find where the next level of buyers are. And we see that, you know, the shelf starts somewhere around here. 37.43, we had the shelf. So for me, it was more like 37.50. Higher low was right here, which is 37.57. So for me, the 37.50 on SPX was the choice, even though ES and SPX have 10 points gap or spread between them. But, you know, if ES can push down to that level, it'll, you know, my 37.50s will gain value. So that's how I pick it. I pick the levels or strikes based on the levels where it can go next.
Thank you.
Okay. Are most of you today green, or some of you guys did not trade, or what was the deal today?
I didn't trade at all.
I was green.
Yep, good.
Took
So
one
it'll be-
trade and I was green.
I took 3,700 from 0.90 all the way to 3.6 and swung it.
That's pretty nice. Well, there are some contracts today I was watching while I was driving back. I saw some contracts that went like $15 to like 30.
Wow,
Like $15 to like 3K.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and you know, you're not expected to catch all of those moves when they move like that. But even if you make, you know, $500 off of $15, that's a pretty good return.
Oh, for sure.
So. Okay. Any specific tickers you guys are interested in?
Could you look at Coin, please? Or NVIDIA? Either one.
Oh, coin got
Yes,
that. Is this all-time low for coin?
They have earnings tomorrow, I believe.
We had a new CFO or something today too.
Yeah, I heard about that. Heard about it in my office today. Yeah, I think we're gonna be heading very soon to the $40 level. Is it? I forgot, what was it? It's after hours. Yeah, I would say this has a high chance of going to that 40 level. So the 59.43 break right here. So if you look at it, right, it's actually a pretty good level of support. So watch this now. If you put this level here, support, resistance comes here, breaks it, they come back for a retest, go long, they support it. So now you're watching this here, see what they can do. If we dump below it, then you have an opportunity to short it, and they could dump this all the way down. What I've noticed a trend, and even the big boys, they raised all of their losses on earnings. So one little coin, I don't think they're gonna hold much value on their earnings, right? If Google got dumped, Amazon lost $280 billion in market cap in a day. They're just gonna send this guy all the way down, probably to all-time low. So I'm not gonna play it, but yeah, I'm not gonna play earnings on this, but I would think it's gonna be a pretty. Yeah. If it breaks 59, you could take it at least 53. Be an easy trade.
Thank you.
Nvidia has a nice bear flag here that it just broke. Well, I guess it did not break it just yet. I would say, if you're gonna be looking in Nvidia for this flag to work out, I would kind of wait for this level here to be taken out. Let them take this out, level out, and I'm pretty sure you could make some money on this trade here. There's some volume here, and I'm pretty certain, that there was a volume shelf here as they're coming up. So this was the value area high of this whole thing, and they got rejected pretty hard once, twice, third time. So if you go below 130, there's a pretty good chance you drop like $5 here. So it's not a bad trade here on the video setting up for tomorrow. Yeah, definitely watch this tomorrow.
Hey, Shorty, can you check video?
Yeah, and if you guys look here on the video, what is this telling you here? I just grabbed the run up, this retracement that they had here. Does everybody see the story?
It's above value area high and come back to now retest it.
Yeah. So guys, this is a pretty good setup for tomorrow. I would definitely watch this tomorrow.
I think it's kind of interesting too when you look to the left. A lot of those, like those candles, when they go up, they take out the liquidity, right, of that previous candle, the second one over to the left. So I bet you they line up pretty good.
Yeah, they did it every single time almost.
Yeah, so I've kind of noticed that. I've started to look a little bit more further back with the trades and kind of like where could they go, just to, they always like just go up just a little bit to take out that, right? And then it comes back.
Yeah.
So
and that's
yeah.
common practice in a trading world, right? So
yeah, it does that all the time. I mean, whatever time frame you're on, you just it always lines. It seems it always lines up, or it takes out whatever.
yeah, and a lot of times, actually, momentum traders look for long opportunities here. Right? So if this is your buy side liquidity here on the top, if they're buying here, right? So what do you think, guys, happened to this poor guy here? He got trapped.
Mm-hmm.
He went long, and they, they might have hit his, stop loss or whatnot. This guy's shorting here. If you're shorting from here, you're in a pretty good spot because you have a little bit of a distance before the next liquidity on the sell side here. So if they kind of push it back to 108, that's pretty good size, almost 30 bucks or yeah, $32 from top to bottom here. So yeah, there's liquidity here. They're gonna come tap this here.
So when you go in, so you on the daily time frame. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone right now, so it's a little hard to tell. So you start out in the daily, and then would you go in like on the just to see whether liquidity is like on intraday, or do you go back like a couple of days?
So what I usually do, I'll look at the, if I'm looking for liquidities, I'll look at the daily, right? See, where's the previous high, previous day high, previous day low. I usually mark those. Then I will also look at the weeklies, right? I'll find the weekly high and low. And for instance, I see here that it's pretty evident that this one that we marked here is really important. Like that's the, the range high, and then, previous week was right here, 138.47. And funny enough, the body of any of these candles from today never really went above it. Well, let me see, a 1 hour. So we had a body that went above it, nice trap, and then obviously the news dumped it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll look for those, and then I'll switch back to kind of like 5 minutes, and I'll look for my entries, right? I mean, if I know that this is my, if this was my level for shorting here, right? So, and it depends, how you learn, the smart money concepts, and where you're picking it up. But usually what happens is that you'll have a trap, you will have a candle that breaks that trap inside, and then you will have a retracement candle, and usually there's a fair value gap in between. So if you guys look at this volume profile here, and it's probably going to look bad, trying to leave.
Hide the
There's
candle.
not, yeah, hide the candles. So if you guys look here, you see here, this whole thing on the top is really, really low volume. The volume picks up inside the value area, and then you have a nice little gap again, right? So here, and you guys remember how to find the fair value gaps is basically, you have a large candle or an imbalanced candle like this. You take the previous candle low, the next candle to the right, and then in between where it didn't reach, that's called a fair value gap. And the volume profile world is just called skinny belly, as we call it in this Discord. And look what happens. They come into this, and look.
There's a nice indicator on TradingView. I'm sure it has it on TOS too, but that will put those imbalances of fair value gaps. It will automatically plot. So
yeah, I found one here. Let me see if it's working. Yeah, see this one, found this one here, and I mean, obviously there's a bunch here that.
Yeah.
I don't really care about all of these here as much as I care about this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that's really important. And if you miss this one is important. So if you're trading fair value gaps, there's a lot more to it, right? I mean, a lot of people just trade fair value gaps, and maybe it'll work for some time before you get caught. But you have to understand the value of the fair value gap and the importance of it, right? You have to understand where the order blocks are coming in. Where are we? Are we making equal highs? Are we at the liquidity? For instance, here, I know we're kind of setting up the liquidity. We're trying to take something out of the market here. Retail trader sees the double top. This is, the neckline here. For many, this is a shorting level. So, and why does this matter? It's because you have market participants coming in. When they come in, they increase the liquidity. If a person sees, that this double bottom neckline is breaking here, what do you think the retail is doing here? They're either entering limit orders or market orders, and those limit become market, right? So they're adding liquidity to this level. And that's how the markets create liquidity, is by going up. And then, I mean, look at this. I mean, same concept here. So here comes, the sell side liquidity here. They come in, trap a little bit, They came back and then they tried to trap, but then you see the fair value gap right here sent it back down. I mean, there's a bunch of these, but this is the one that, you know, I would have used for entry here today. This is a perfect one.
So another thing that I've kind of learned a little bit too is so the market makers they like to take it like the run of something. So like the fib level, I guess we have that too at 50%, but so like to push it from like what they call like a premium area down to like a discount area.
Of course, yeah.
So
that's why 50 is
yeah,
important.
yeah. So a lot of
I mean-
times they'll just go under that. So, you know, like a place to get out would be a good place maybe.
That's correct. And you know, when you're trading discount areas, usually it's around 50%. I like 61.8 as a major level, but the 61.8 levels or 50 combined, they will give you a lot of entry. And
Yeah, if it
50%,
sometimes it'll line up with like one of those wicks too, or just underneath or something. So
Yep.
you can kind of target that. I don't know. I'm just learning about. I mean, it fits with what we are learning. I told you in this Discord too, but it just adds confidence, right? So that's.
Well, it's all about confluence, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not a single strategy. And trading has been around since most people alive. Well, everyone alive here trading right now. So when people say that, I came up with a new concept, well, I hate to tell people, but you do not really come up with shit. This has been around for some time. Maybe you documented the concept, but that concept's been around.
So,
Right.
so would you say that the more retail traders there are, would it influence the way that the market makers are trading? Like, if it seems like maybe if they figure out what they're doing.
Do you really think it's hard to figure out what the retailers are doing?
No, but I'm saying, I know it's such a small portion of what really moves the markets because it's the central banks that that decide what we're doing, and we're just like we're such a small part of it. But they probably don't really care what retail is doing, right?
No, they really care, but retail is so easy. All the majority of retails use EMA and SMAs, and this is the easiest way for market makers to play the game against them, right? They see what you see, and they know. And I mean, how many times have they altered your emotions with news?
A lot.
Release news, and you're like, oh man, this is probably bearish, and then something totally opposite happens. Why does that always happen? Well, because their goal is to take money away from you. Your goal is to take money away from the market. So as long as you're wrong in the direction and timing, if you're trading options, they make money. So their goal is to, send you on the wrong route. It's almost like, a dribble. They want to dribble you and you go left and they go right and they score a goal or basket, whatever. The goal is to trick you to believe one thing and they do another. If they pivot here soon, it would be bigger surprise than if they did a pivot today. Because I think, I've never seen Twitter so bullish like today. Like I have no idea why there was a lot of bullish people on Twitter today. I mean, it's first they released the jobs were strong, the economy is doing well. And then, I mean, you look at these profits that some of these companies are still having, they're pretty massive. And the only way you slow that down is, if your labor market needs to be weakened a little bit, by salaries, well, you're going to be increasing layoffs and killing the demand. So, and in the meantime, you have to increase the interest rates. It just did not make sense today why so many people are bullish.
I think most days the market doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It's always opposite. It's always opposite of what you think it's going to do. I mean, you should almost play it that way.
Exactly. And, a lot of people, a lot of successful traders are not logical. I don't know if you guys know that. They use zero logic.
More rational.
Yeah, there's no rational. I mean, a lot of traders that are good, they're not trying to rationalize all these moves. They're trying to make sure that what they're trading in their strategy has an edge, and that's all they do. So for a lot of people that, that are, oh my God, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. If you had an edge and how you would be okay, because you just do what you're supposed to do and you don't care about the logic. Okay. Good points from you guys.
Shorty, can you look at Boeing?
Boeing's been in the same formation for a very long time.
Boeing is like the worst company to trade.
Yeah, I don't trade Boeing because of news and how quickly the news impacted. Man, this is a pretty nasty chart. Was there news on it today?
They had Investor Day.
Did anyone show up?
I don't know. The price showed up.
Yeah, this is pretty pathetic.
Conversely, Airbus tanked in the after hours. I don't know what happened. 12-13% time.
Oh, it's down.
Yeah, Airbus.
Once you're done with Boeing, could you look at PG, Procter and Gamble?
Yeah. Are you surprised we rejected here?
Wow. Well, I see the rising wedge as well.
Yeah, we hit the POC from this imbalance right here on the dot. 153, and you reclaim the value area low of this. So when you're able to reclaim a sell-off value area low, you have a strong chance to go to POC and the value area high. And they went to value area high before, and they did not like it. They came back. Now you're rejecting the POC. It's gonna go back, and you said it's down already. It's not that bad. It's still here. It needs to go to 127.
Hmm.
So it's probably coming back here.
Okay.
127-ish. Unless, I haven't read their transcript on investor relations, but unless somebody's buying something heavy here, but I know they had nasty earnings. Yeah, a little bit of surprise here.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
So,
missed
Shorty,
about
can you give some
4,800.
can you give some tips on how you create your watch list, or you just have like any criteria to create your watch list, or like just focus on
Trade.
SPX for your thing?
The more tickers you have on your watch list, the less focused you will be. So it's up to you what you want to trade. I don't need 40 tickers, right? I mean, I see that, for me, NVIDIA has a pretty good setup. I know I'm gonna find something on SPX tomorrow. There's gonna be a trade tomorrow. And I keep the levels fairly tight, main couple of stocks that I look at, like, AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, Amazon, Google, those stocks I keep an eye on. So I know how they move the market, like Apple, the combo. And then I basically just pay attention and you can play SPY, SPX, whatever, or if you're trading futures off of those.
Actually,
Yeah. A lot of people, overcomplicate it because they add so many levels and then they're not focused on that and they miss them all.
Yeah, that's what happening to me. I had multiple levels, multiple stock. I could not hop between one or the other, and then I lose everything. Or I just randomly take a thing and then I lose it.
So the best way to avoid that is to pick one or
Okay.
pick two and have them on your screen and do not flip screen at all. You watch those
Got it.
levels as it comes to your level, you take it and you move on. If it doesn't come to your level, what do you do?
Forget about it. Move on to the
Wait
next
for
trade.
it. Just wait for it.
You do nothing. The answer is
Yeah.
nothing. You wait for it.
You don't trade.
Exactly. So
For the past 2 weeks, my profits are coming out of AMD because I'm just watching that on a regular basis. The rest of the thing, I just try to hop and lose the profit from AMD and the
yeah,
other
see,
stocks.
but so why do you keep doing that if you're doing well on AMD? Why do you guys want to switch to something else? Well, let me
Exactly,
ask you
Shorty,
guys a
like it's
question. If you had a business and you're selling gummy bears and you're a millionaire of gummy bears, would you want to sell another product?
Nope.
Then why the hell are you guys treating trading as a non-business?
yeah, I think I have to just unfollow a lot of the folks from Twitter and just, as you said, don't flip it. Like if it is not there, just shut it down and go.
Yeah,
I have a
you
lot
you
of the
have
thing.
to
I
have
checked
the
in
business
tweet and
discipline. No,
yeah,
no, you have to. You're in a Discord to learn and to become independent. The more shit you add from others, whether it's myself or other, you have to find the levels for yourself and you have to trust yourself. If you keep failing at the levels, then it's a question, hey, Shorty, I did this and I messed up on this level. Why is it this? But you have to find the levels and trust them and execute on it. And if you don't have a plan,
I had
stop
to
loss,
fix that one.
entries, and exits, you will not go far, guys. And Procter and Gamble here, I don't know who asked, but if you guys look, there was the imbalance right there. The candle right before the imbalance. Look how quickly that you basically dumped from this supply here, and look what you did. You came back, and this was a perfect entry for short here, especially once you kind of broke this low, prior to this right here. Once you broke that, it was a good entry here. So tomorrow, if you get a retest, like 133.8, 134, I think it might be good. And I know Bridget, brought something up. So if you look at this, Bridget, here, look what it's showing up right now. So this is your 4-hour value gap, and you came right back to it. You tried to trap some here. Well, you never really came close to it, but you came very close to hitting the top. But there's a lot of supply here. I don't think supply was their issue here at all. This right here is a excess supply right here on these wicks, because all that pressure sending it down is where this supply was. And they came back, fair value gap, and they dumped it here. So, and this is probably not a bad company to keep an eye on. They pay dividends as well. Anywhere in these levels, I would think there's 89 was the level I was watching before, I believe. See why I had that level in my head. Okay, there's 103. I think it was this one right here. This main zone was here. Yeah, for me, I would be looking somewhere. If I can get these right here, these shares right here, this would be pretty good. This would be the level I'm kind of after here. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be live tomorrow. We'll trade and let's see if we can make some money together and go from there. But there's the same setup setting up as it was today on bigger time frames here. So you guys know, here's your bigger time frames. Well, 3 minutes today. Does it look fairly identical here? Guys, see
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Right on. Thank you, Shorty. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll trade live and let's see what we can make.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shorty.
Bye.
Thanks.